All right, guys, two Mariners videos in one day. Did you ever imagine it could happen? I know it's not exactly what I had planned to happen today, but the trades happen, moves happen, things happen, and I try to talk about it. And often the Mariners will make a move here or there that I don't feel like warrants an entire video, but this one's a big deal, especially with where the team is right now and where they're headed. So I want to talk about this one for a little bit here. Per Jeff Passan about an hour ago, the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a deal and have now finalized that deal as near as I can tell to acquire right-hander Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds, sources tell ESPN. So we've been talking about Castillo for a little while. I mentioned him a little bit in the video this morning about the Mariners, and now we have acquired him. So couple different layers here. First, we have to talk about Luis Castillo. He's in the middle of an all-star season, a sub-3 ERA season. He's on a bad team, so he still only has like a 500 record, but he is, in terms of his performance this year, close to what we're getting from Logan Gilbert and what we've seen from Robbie Ray outside of these last two games against Houston, pretty much. He's maybe an ace. I don't know if he's actually a full-blown ace, but if not, he's close. Now, if you look at the last few years, he hasn't been as good as this year at times, but even at his worst, he's still a solid pitcher. And even if that's what we end up getting, it would be decent. It would be workable. It would still be probably, at the very least, what you're getting from Marco and Flexen. So, in the short term, now we have the flexibility to send George Kirby down at the end of the season and limit his innings in the meantime because we have Castillo. So on that front, it's going to help. Now, I don't know if this trade is going to improve the team in the immediate, like this year, because our starting rotation had been really good. Kirby's ERA is something like 3.5. So Castillo, he might do a little bit better than that, but he's not like Kirby was terrible and Castillo is going to just completely blow him away. No, Kirby was playing extremely well. He's just young and we want to protect him. So what Castillo's going to allow us to do is basically keep our rotation where it is, maybe a little bit better. And next year, when Castillo is still, I mean, he's got a year of arbitration left, but he'll still be here. You could go to a six-man rotation with four guys who are mostly playing at an ace or borderline ace level with Ray, Gilbert, Kirby, and now Castillo, with Marco and Flexen as your guys maybe you're a little shakier on. But regardless, it's a six-man rotation of credible starters who are playing good baseball this year. So, short term, it's going to allow the team to stay where they are as a pitching staff while protecting Kirby, and it's going to allow the team to next year be stellar in the rotation and possibly go six deep, which, I mean, there aren't a lot of teams that can do it, but we are potentially going to be one of them next year. So, that's the trade. Beyond next year, I don't know. I will say, if you look at what we gave up, which we'll go over in a second here, if this is a rental, that's going to kind of sting a little bit because I'm going to just say it. We gave up quite a bit to get Castillo, as you should. He's a two-time All-Star. He's in the middle of an All-Star season, and he's not that old, and he still has a year of arbitration left. You should have to give up a lot to get somebody like this, so I don't have a problem with that. But if he ends up being here for less than a year and a half and then pieces out, then you're going to look back and be like, man, I kind of wish I had those prospects. But prospects don't pan out all the time. You can't assume that every prospect is going to hit the peak of their value. So I don't have a problem with it. The team is showing some urgency here, and I appreciate that. So let's talk about what we gave up as well. That's the other part of the trade. So we gave up four minor leaguers, including Marte. A lot of people were really excited about Marte. A lot of people thought that Marte was going to be part of this team's long-term future. A lot of people thought that he was going to be a big part of this team's immediate plans. I will say that after we gave Crawford the extension earlier this year, a very reasonable extension, by the way, that became a little bit harder. It would have required him to move to second base. Maybe we felt like that probably wasn't going to be a good idea. It wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to happen. Whatever. So second base is where the hole is. So if we don't feel like Marte can move to second base, then there's not a ton of room for him with Crawford's extension being what it is, because Crawford's an everyday player. So now we're looking at Cole Young at being the shortstop of the future, because he should be about ready to go by the time Crawford's contract is up. That's the big one. We also gave up Edwin Arroyo, who I believe he's in a lower level of baseball than Marte is, but he's also a very exciting prospect that some people are high on. I think the Reds are getting a good one with him, but he's not going to be up for a while. And again, maybe this has something to do with the drafting of Cole Young and the fact that you do have a big contract with, well, not a huge big contract, but a lengthy contract with Crawford. So I get it. It hurts to lose these guys, but admittedly, shortstop is a position that we're doing well at right now. Behind Crawford, you have Haggerty, who is actually playing very well so far this year, and Dylan Moore, who is playing okay. So maybe they just felt like having AAA, AA, single A depth at the shortstop position was not going to pay immediate dividends, and their focus might be on a second baseman, although I will say Adam Frazier's actually playing really well lately. I don't want to read too much into it, but he's going to be here next year anyway, I'm pretty sure, so maybe. We also gave up two pitchers that I don't know that much about, Andrew Moore and Levi Stout. I think that Moore was considered to be one of our better pitching prospects in the farm system, but I don't know a ton about him. Obviously, it's not Hancock, it's not Brash, and especially important, it's not Kirby. So we managed to acquire a really good, really valuable player without giving up the guys who were supposedly going to have to be included in a deal for those guys, like Kirby. Some people were saying Gilbert. Obviously, the big one was Hancock. I don't know what Brash's value is right now. He's obviously kind of all over the place, but it, at the same time, is... there's definitely something there. There's no doubt about it. He's good. He has the ability to be very good. So getting out of this without giving up Hancock and to a lesser extent Brash has to be considered a win. And all in all, I'm going to say I think this is a good trade. We got a great player who's going to make us able to hold serve for the rest of this year without Kirby being able to go a full go. And it also allows us to be potentially elite next year with our rotation. Genuinely should be the best rotation in the league, right up there with Houston. Unless Houston goes 7 deep, which is, I guess, possible if you look at their roster. But yeah, it's a good trade. It's not a cheap trade. It's not an easy trade. It's not something you feel amazing about. But you gave up some prospects. You didn't give up the big prospect, because as of right now, to me, the big prospect on this team is Hancock and the catcher. Ugh, I can't remember the damn name, but somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm gonna say I'm happy with this. Props to Dipoto for getting it done. I don't know if there's going to be another trade. We don't have a lot to work with now, but we could use another mediocre bat, I guess. So we'll see. See you guys later. Go Hawks. I'm about to go live on Twitch on Fire Emblem. If you want to come watch, do so. See you guys later.